The stable is full of fine horses, all of them as sound and sturdy as the mounts given to you by Lord Adams. Pydo acts as a lookout while you saddle up 2 black stallions. You are making the final adjustments to their bridles when Pydo hisses a warning. 4 monks coming this way. You mount your fresh steeds and gallop out of the stables, scattering the startled monks, who had just reached the door. In an act of desperation, one of the monks unsheaths his sword and hurls it at your back. The deadly blade spins through the air with alarming accuracy. Pick a number on the random number table. If you have the Magic discipline of Hunt Mastery and Divination, add 3 to the number you picked. Well, since it has to be 0 through 2 or 3 and above, I think we can just go ahead and click on this one. That's right, number table. You can't hurt me this time. No, sir. The sword whistles past your head and gouges a chunk of stone from the courtyard arch. You hear the monks shouting, and you dig in your heels, steering your horse through the archway along the narrow streets that lead to their quadrangle. At this early hour, there are few obstacles to slow your escape as you gallop headlong through the twisting streets of Tharo. It is not until you reach the town's north gate that you finally rein your horses to a halt. The north gate guards, tired after a long night's watch, grumble wearily at your demand the gate be open. "What's the hurry?" growls one of the guardsmen. "Matter of life or death, is it?" sneers the other. The portcullis finally cranks open and you leave town, riding the broken dirt track towards the distant hills and the frontier town of Sayada. Gray-brown grasses brush your skin as you run this wild, uncultivated path. Accompanying your ride is an unnatural silence which is broken only occasionally by cawing of ravens circling like vultures overhead. By midday you are among the hills. The terrain becomes increasingly rocky, undulating? Undulating like a storm-tossed ocean. The tall plains grass has given way to sad little plants, scraggly and deformed, stunted by the winds that sweep down from the barren waste of Ogaya. The track passes through a narrow valley where a small stone cabin stands beside the entrance to a disguised mine shaft. As you approach the cabin, you see a face at the window. If you wish to stop at the cabin, if you wish to investigate the mine, if you wish to continue along the valley. I wish to continue along the valley. Why would I stop at the cabin, and why in the world would I investigate a mine? It has nothing to do with my mission, so I'm just going to keep on going. The track continues along the rock-strewn valley through the thicket of stunted trees and climbs slowly towards the ridge of hills, their peaks worn smooth by countless years of wind and harsh weather. You stop briefly at a babbling stream to allow your horses a drink, and your rumbling stomach reminds you that you are hungry and in need of food. You must now eat a meal or lose 3 endurance points. I have Hunt Mastery. I'll use that. When the horses have quenched their thirst, you continue your climb to the ridge. You soon reach the crest and stare down on the sight that sends shivers down your spine. 4 endurance points. So I'm up to 16. Woohoo! Slowly regaining our health, folks. Slowly. In the distance, you see a pall of dense black smoke rising into the sky. At its base, a fortress wall and a cluster of cottages are feeding the greedy flames. Sayada burns. To the north of the doomed town, an army of black-clad troops covers the hills. The black wolf-head banners of Ogaya sway on long poles, fluttering grimly above the ranks of the merciless horde. Along the track, a great procession of men, women, and children come towards you. Some on horseback, some in carts, and some with bundles of possessions clutched to their soot-blackened chests. They stumble forward in silence, their eyes filled with terror and despair. A soldier, bleeding from a wound to his head, rides past the crest shouting, "Turn back! Turn back! The armies of darkness are coming!" And we got a picture of a man doing just that, and a horse that seems incredibly interested in the ground in front of him. Maybe he sees a bug. Alright. It is impossible to continue along the track eastwards. The dirt road is blocked with refugees from Sayada, and the Ogayan horde are poised to launch an attack from the hills. Your only 2 courses of action are left open to you. You can turn back along the track, or you can ride west across the hills towards the Mordil Forest. Consult the map on the front of the book before making your decision. So I can what? I can turn back along the track, or I can ride west. Well, we are We are... No. We are like here. This burns, so we can turn back along the track, or we can go west. Well, we're going to go west. Why would we turn back? That's silly. So we're going to go west. You and Pydo reel your horses around and follow the crest of the ridge. Expertly, you manage to steer them down a steep bank of loose shale, and then on at a brisk pace along the dried-out gully. Soon the gully becomes a stream of sparkling water fed by an underground spring. A rumble, like the sound of a distant storm, warned you that the vast army of Zaragron, war chief of Ogaya, is now less than 20 miles away. Yay! And we have a picture of their banner, the black wolf head. You follow the stream until it enters a long corridor of towering trees that descend towards the bank of a swift-flowing brook at the tributary of the river Syad. You stop here briefly to bathe your faces in the icy water and to stare at the massive blue-green giant trees that fill the western horizon. They have a picture here of a sword covered in vines. The Mordril Forest, says Pydo, a note of trepidation on his voice. It was once a wondrous forest, a place of light and goodness. The trees grew strong and the birds and beasts were the fairest of any forest breed. But the Mordril has grown dark and dismal of late. The Danarg encroaches, feeding its sickness into the soil and poisoning the saplings and the creatures that dwell there still. It is a doomed forest, doomed to become part of the Danarg swamp. You remount your horses and cross the brook. As you climb the opposite bank, you notice a set of freshly made tracks in the soft earth. Do you have the Magnakai Discipline of Pathmanship? I do. I've been using this quite a bit lately. At first, you think that the tracks are those of a black bear, the paw prints being of similar size and depth. But at closer examination changes your mind. These prints were left by a biped, a two-footed animal that walks upright. You have never before come across tracks like these, and judging from the size of the prints, you would be happier to avoid the creature that made them. Indeed. Alright. Alright, I shall endeavor to not run into this thing. You urge your horse up the steep bank and across the fallen branches that litter the trail beyond. Less than a mile from the brook where you hear sound of rushing water. The track bears north, and you see a roaring waterfall cascading into a rocky pool, its surface lost in a cloud of fine spray. A huge tree has fallen across the pool, creating a bridge, and the track leads straight to it. You are halfway across the tree bridge, looking down at the swirling spray of foaming water below, when a ghastly howl rings out above the thunder of the waterfall. You look up and stare slack-jawed at a creature that is advancing towards you across the tree bridge. Is it that creature's tracks we found? Yay! See, I lied. I wanted to meet it. I think I'm at like 19 now? I think. Maybe like 20, but let's go 19 and be safe, huh? The creature gives a strange snickering cry as slowly it edges nearer and nearer, as the huge pear-shaped beast with a hunched back and white lizard-like head. Awkwardly, it shuffles upright on two large hairy paws. At first glance, it looks as if two totally separate creatures have been joined together at the waist. The lower half is covered with coarse, spiky fur, and the upper body is pale and hairless, heavily veined, with long, sinewy forearms. It raises its snout to savor the smell of your frightened horse and opens its fanged jaws. Then we have a picture of this crazy beast, which is, yeah, pretty weird. It looks almost like a bear from below and like a weird lizard demon thing above. If you have a bow and wish to use it, I do. I'm using the hell out of a bow in this book. Your horse is panic-stricken. The tree bridge is too narrow for it to turn around, and Pydo's mount is so close behind that you are unable to back up without risk of sending them both over the edge. Pick a number on the random number table. If you've completed the lower circles of fire and light, add 3 to the number you have picked. I have not, but I do have the bow, which adds 3, and weapon mastery, which adds 3, so I get to add 6 to whatever the number is. So, random number table, don't fail me now. Please? 4 plus 6. Okay, good. 8 or higher, so we're good. Yay! Your arrow enters the creature's mouth, transfixing the tongue to the back of its throat. It gurgles and chomps on the feathered shaft, its clawed fingers scrabbling to pull it free. In its frenzy, it loses its footing and slips, throwing open its arms instinctively to steady itself. Its claws ensnare your horse's bridle, and as it topples from the tree bridge, it pulls your horse and you over the edge. Pick a number from the random number table. If you have the Magnakai discipline of Hunt Mastery, add 2 to the number you've picked. Well, considering that it needs a 2, I don't think I even have to roll. Bye, horsey. You leap from the saddle, narrowly avoiding being pulled off the tree bridge. Your horse and the hideous creature both disappear from view, quickly swallowed up by the spray from the waterfall. As you land on the slippery wet wood, Paido's horse rears up on its hind legs, its forelegs kicking the air as its eyes roll madly. He fights to control the animal, but it's wild with fear, and with a crack of splintering wood, its hind hoof shears through the rotten branch. It totters on the brink. Paido swings his legs clear and abandons his doomed horse, barely seconds before it falls into the watery abyss. Yay! At least I'm not alone in my horse failure. And then we have a picture of the monster's hand as it sinks below the water. All Wile E. Coyote-esque. Alright, so I got to take down an arrow. Back down to 4. Alright. At least I didn't lose any endurance points, right? Within a few minutes, you stare silently at the pool below. For a few minutes, you stare silently at the pool below. Nothing stirs in the seething waters to record the loss of your horses and the passing of the dreadful Anafeg, which is, I guess, what you were fighting. All 3 have disappeared without a trace. The distant thunder of battle pervades your thoughts, prompting you to leave the tree bridge and move deeper into the Mordril forest. The tall trees become denser, often forcing you to turn your body sideways in order to make any progress. Gradually, dense undergrowth turns to a carpet of moss and blue-black lichen, which clings to your boots like mud. A chill overwhelms you as a thick and pearly mist seeps from the cracks beneath the trees. The many sounds of the forest have disappeared to be replaced by a cold and eerie silence. If you are in need of a tincture of oxidane or OD herb, no. Why would I need that? Whatever. If you need neither of these items, turn to page 91. Alright. Twilight is approaching. As the sky above darkens, a black bird flies among the upper branches, emitting a shrill cry. With sounds unnaturally loud in the silent forest, it settles, stares at you for a few minutes, and then flaps away. A little later, you stumble upon a clearing. Shafts of ghostly moonlight pour through the gap in the black canopy of leaves, revealing a mound of earth rising out of the forest mist. You are both exhausted after the day's events and agree to stop here to rest. Paido takes a gold crown from his pocket and tosses it up in the air to decide who should take the first watch. Heads or tails, he asks, the crown clenched in his fist. Okay, hang on, I don't like this one. Here we go.